significant deadline has passed for First Nations across Canada. Under the terms of something called the First Nations Financial Transparency Act, they were supposed to have disclosed their finances, including the salaries of chiefs and councils. That was supposed to be as of midnight last night. However, a number of First Nations have said they will not comply. At least one says it's going to take the federal government to court over the act. Erin Collins is following this story. She joins me live from Calgary, or sorry. Erin, how many First Nations have actually complied with this act?
Well, I guess the simple answer, Suhan, is the vast majority. So around 90% so far, and we're not sure precisely what that number is because this was a rolling deadline last night at midnight, moving from sort of the eastern side of the country over to the west. So really just, 6 or 7 hours ago was the final deadline. But as of last evening, I was in touch with the minister's office, and they said 521 of the 582 affected First Nations had already filed their papers. So about 60 hadn't at that point. How many filed overnight, we don't know yet. We should find out later on this afternoon.
And what reasons are bands giving for not complying?
Sure. We've heard a couple things. I spoke to some councils, and we've heard pretty much two main reasons. One, a lot of them say, we're already filing this financial information to our members, and why should we make it public for the rest of the country? This is our information, our financial details, and it's not sort of in the public interest. And the other reason is they say, hey, we have self-government. We're nations, and we shouldn't be expected to disclose this information because it's not something other nations can be compelled to do. So there's those two main arguments. And we spoke to one band yesterday, and they say that they're actually going to challenge this act in court. That's the Onion Lake Cree Nation from Saskatchewan. They say they're going to be filing a statement of claim to challenge the government's ability to enforce this.
I also want to ask you about ramifications. I mean, say a First Nations decides it does not want to disclose its finances, as some already have said. What will be the repercussions?
Yeah, that's the big question, and we put that to Bernard Valcourt, the minister in charge of this file, yesterday as he was on his way into the House, and he basically said we will do what the Act says we can do. Now, the slippery thing there is the Act says you can do sort of a whole range of things. On the low end, you can simply compel the nation to release these, to create a plan to release this information. So that's sort of just saying, hey, come up with a way to do this. On the other side of things, I guess on the more draconian side, you can withdraw funding, you can cancel grants to these nations, and you can basically take away funding that would pay for the administration and the wages of the chiefs and councillors who are refusing to disclose this information. So whether or not they do all of those things or sort of a range of those things, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, we will. Thank you, Erin. Erin Collins in Calgary.